Welcome to the Engineers of Tomorrow webinar on empathy in a classroom. Empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. According to Brené Brown, empathy conveys connection and invites us to assess our own experiences to connect with the other person. A key difference between sympathy and empathy is that empathy is putting yourself in another person's shoes and understanding things from their perspective. One of the benefits of empathy in education is that it builds positive classroom culture as students learn to understand each other and foster better relationships. Empathy also strengthens the community when children communicate cross-culturally with their classmates from different cultural backgrounds. Lastly, empathy prepares students to be leaders in your community, as a good leader is one who cares about the people and makes them feel valued. By cultivating empathy in classrooms, studies have shown a higher classroom engagement rate, higher academic achievements, better communication skills, lower likelihood of bullying, and less aggressive behaviors and emotional disorders among students. One of the ways that empathy can help students outside of classroom is to allow them to notice and reject stereotypes. It also teaches them to respect and value differences, widen their circle of concern, and manage difficult feelings like sadness, anger, or frustration. Empathy also builds their emotional intelligence as children learn to navigate social situations ethically and fairly from a young age. So, we now know all about the benefits of empathy, but how do we cultivate empathy in a classroom? One of the ways is to listen to your students better by listening with your ears, your eyes, and your heart. When I mention listening with your ears, listen to what is actually being said and the tone used. Try and understand why a child is upset or angry, and by making them feel like they are being understood, they'll feel more secure and learn to share their feelings in a calm manner. Listen with your eyes by giving eye contact to your students when speaking and nodding your head in affirmation when they speak. Also notice with your eyes the physical demeanor of the students, like if he or she is slumping in their chair or appearing withdrawn. Instead of immediately reprimanding your students for being inattentive in classrooms, show some care and ask them why they are feeling a certain way. Lastly, listen with your heart by understanding and seeing things from your students' perspective. If you're having trouble seeing things from the student's perspective, ask them, "Can you help me understand how you see this?" Avoid telling them how they are feeling and saying things like, "I know how you feel." A better alternative would be, "I imagine that you feel this way, am I right?" as it shows them that you are actually trying to understand them. One activity that you can do in the classroom to cultivate empathy is by playing a role-switching game. Have the teachers divide their class into two groups and create a conflict situation that must be resolved. Each group plays a different role, and after 10 or 15 minutes of discussion, the groups must switch roles, and this will allow them to see things from the other group's perspective. Another great way is to cultivate empathy through reading or writing. Find the right story for your class by finding texts exploring familiar life scenarios that will help children understand what their friends might go through. For example, when a friend's parents are going through a divorce. Look for texts with well-rounded, believable characters. The protagonist of a story doesn't always have to be good. The story should help children understand a character's motivation. I've also listed 2 links here for examples of books that can help cultivate empathy in students. We all have biases, conscious or unconscious. Some examples of biases are gender, race, or sexual orientation. Biases are built from our upbringing and experience. We cannot eliminate them, but we can be aware of them and make sure that they don't affect our decision making, as they can interfere with our ability to empathize. As a more personal method to challenge your biases, constantly question your perception of others with regards to their race, gender, appearance, qualifications, or age. Stop and think. Am I thinking or feeling this way because of my bias? With your students, perhaps the Cultural Diversity Day can help eliminate some of the classroom cultural biases. Another great activity to do with your class to cultivate empathy is to volunteer in a local community. Have students volunteer with a food or clothing drive, visit a soup kitchen, or to help out in a retirement home to assist the elderly. We've come to an end of the webinar. Here are a list of references that I've used for information in the webinar. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it.